Alright, what's up everyone, CR2 here. Hope you're doing well wherever and whenever you're watching from. And today we have got the 1987's Qualified Practice Guide for week 11. And this time we're going to be at Kentucky. Old one specifically, the scan was from 2011, I believe. And huge difference compared to the newer Kentucky that 87s were at a year ago. As far as for old Kentucky, I believe 87s have been here only once before, and that was maybe season 1 of 2023. I might be wrong on that. But regardless of such, old track, bumpy as hell in some parts, and slick. Really, really quite slick, and that's why our usage is at 75%. Probably something like 20% and less. The car feels much better. Rear doesn't want to kill you as much, but this is just to prepare everybody for not so much worst, but that would be 100%. But this is pretty close, 75%. Track rubber buildup makes a pretty big difference in your lap time and possibly even tire wear and tire heat. So you can see right now 101 degrees. Cloud cover comes and goes. You might see as hot as 107, maybe as cool as 95 when there's some cloud cover for a few laps. But with cars on track, I really wouldn't see this cooling any more than 100 degrees. And probably not getting any hotter than maybe 110-ish. But bottom line, slick track with rubber buildup. Make sure you keep your rear tire happy as much as possible. As far as for the weather, pretty breezy. Might make you quite loose in turn 3. And maybe a little tight off turn 4. And also loose off turn 2. Gotta be careful of that. It is quite loose off of the both corners if you are careless. Even if you're careful, it can still snap loose on you pretty quickly. We're gonna do +6. We'll go click down for qualifying, but for your race, I just recommend maxing it all the way up to 58%. Keep heat as much as possible out of your right rear. Check this again, 102 now. Let's get on out of here. Set up in case I screw up the qualifying. I'm going to go in a little easy. Wait till you turn it down. Be careful on the power. It can get loose on you. You can cut it to start your lap or not. I mean the apron, I mean. Totally up to you. Going for a high entry, trail brake it quite a bit. Be patient on your throttle. Be careful when you're on throttle, again, it can get loose on you. Charge it. I like being at or below the seam in 3 and 4. Might plant it there. And just make your line as short as possible. Be careful not to clip the grass. Get yourself a 1x. 34.430. Someone might be able to find a 10th there, but quite a tricky track, this old configuration of Kentucky. I've been practicing a ton. Jonathan Millis from John M Racing, he's been practicing a lot in tandem with me. We've been sharing data here and there. He's able to keep his tires cooler better than myself, but he's also told me I'm kind of just outright faster, so bit of back and forth. You can try to go the keep your tires cool route, or you can just kind of not so much hammer down, but being a little more aggressive. The problem is you're right on that edge of the limit of heat your tires will take before they start to give up on you. Back again, 102. Let's go on out of the car for the camera for the qualifying lap. That was 170 to start the lap. High entry, brake just before we're closest to the wall, trail brake through the corner. I feel like I overdrove this a bit, but still kind of saved by the fact we just got the higher line offers a much stronger run out of the corners versus the lowest line. Brake just before the safer barrier on your outside into turn 3. See, I kind of got my tires, my left side tires on that seam, dip below it for exit. Much better exit than I expected. I was really just hammered down on the throttle, and it stayed nice and happy with me. 2 still, weather, yeah, still pretty much the same. Gonna mimic a race start here. Got a little bit of cloud cover, cool the track down a couple degrees. Double check that brake bias, put it all the way up. So like I said, a couple lines you could go all the way to the bottom. It's bumpy as hell to me. I thought it would be better to keep the tires cool. It really doesn't, so I'll show off that low line first. After we get rolling. Ease the throttle into it, back into it, nice and smooth. Let off at the start of those tire marks, just to your left into turn 3. First lap, 36.0. See, I'm getting most of my braking done pretty much before I'm loading into the banking. Before you load the car. I found that being on the brakes as the car is loaded into the banking can really induce some over rotation, so you got to be careful with that. See, 35 flat for lap 2. Holy crap, that's fast. See this line I'm taking, kind of middle high entry, and then going for a low exit. Excuse my cat there. Missed the jump under the desk. Easy braking. Get to the seam, smooth onto the throttle. You're not really going to full throttle until you're almost straight on the steering wheel. You see, I'm not really having a lot of steering wheel into it. Early lift off, you really kind of just want to ease the car into the banking. Different line, go up way high, a little bit of a chop down maneuver. Then we get a little bit of a better launch, but my concern is that'll overheat the right rear. You kind of do the same for 3 and 4. still turning 35.5s. It's kind of dependent on track temp and also the track rubber buildup. Your lap time fall off could stop as low as 36.2 range to as high as 36.7 range, and that depends on your tire heat, track temperature, track rubber buildup. So really I would say that this is kind of go only as fast as you need to. To be fast, you're kind of already on the limit of the heat your tires will take, your right front and your right rear. More the right rear than right front, because it's just so hard to keep heat out of it. I've tried a myriad of different ways, and the coolest that I've had the right rear ever after like 30 or 45 laps run was like 240 degrees. See, I'm kind of counter steering a tiny bit. You just really want to act like you've got a couple of very fragile legs under your throttle pedal. Ease it in, wide entry, get on down low. And 4, you could use the lowest lane a little bit better. It's smoother, not as bumpy. But you see how much time we're giving up. Stronger run there, excuse me. Again, high entry, get on down to the middle lane, a little bit of maintenance throttle. See, pretty strong exit off there. Try the lowest line here, shorter distance of course. You see, it kind of works. It's not drastically slower than the lane or two up. 3 and 4 is better for the low line in my opinion. Up in this darkest lane here. A little loose there, and that's the problem with going up too high. You're kind of just cranking it left slightly too much. Try to make the exit while you're on power. Certainly, if you get a look at my mouse here, you don't want to be above this darkest lane here. There's just no grip, in my opinion. And then you get that little bit of loose condition there because you're trying to compensate having not as much grip. So really, this darkest lane and lower, I believe, are the viable lines. Lowest on down might be a little bit better late race once there's a bunch of rubber buildup for middle lane and higher on the track. But you're certainly not going to be ripping the wall, that's for sure. That was a 36.2, not the best lap really. A little too early on throttle there. fairly consistently turn 36.2s. At the start of the race, you're kind of just, you're really driving with the pedals, driving with your feet. Don't want to have a bunch of turn in the steering wheel when you're back on throttle. You see them counter steering there just a tiny bit. Then once you burn off some fuel, just over 5 gallons burned off, probably once you burn it down to 11, 12 gallons, you can kind of start running it a little more aggressively into the turns, because that's when you'll be using your brakes to get some rotation. And you see I'm just being real smooth with brake, throttle, steering wheel. Being very patient getting back to full throttle. Braking done early, float through the center, drive it out with a little bit of throttle, avoid full throttle until you're almost straight on the wheel, because once the right rear is pissed off, you'll be having a hell of a time, that's for sure. Just to see what happens if you happen to straddle the apron line in the tri-oval. There was one week, if you touched it earlier this season or last season, where the car just got really, really pissed off. It may have been Kansas from a few weeks ago this season. I'm just being really smooth with the brake, float the center. I know I've said it for the past couple guides, don't chase lap time. Because we could go into pit soon after I check off some more laps, and I guarantee you the right rear is probably going to be 240 something. And that's just, I can't find any way to keep heat out of it. I've tried driving it harder into the corners to put some work on the right front. Tried entirely different racing lines. I just cannot keep heat out of the right rear. Very much how I drive this car. Lap 20 on this run now, I believe. We're still turning 36.4s. Could probably get a 36.3 if we hit our markers really good and just any bang on lap. Ease that in there. There's a little bit on exit, but you really, really want to be thinking lap 25 and beyond in any run. Fighting a little loose on throttle. Alright, so I will check out for a little bit, check off some laps. You guys will rejoin me shortly to see the pit-in and the tires and see how this thing handles on right side tires, because I have not practiced that yet, so that'll be new territory for everybody in here. So see you soon. Alright everyone, so we are back. Lap 58 it says on the counter. That is right now. Excuse me while I try to do some math. I believe this is about lap 52 on this run we're on. And And you can see we're running 36.8s. We had some consistent cloud cover for a bit, which really helped us speed up the car a little bit. A little bit warmer now, really strong run off of turn 4, 36.6. So that's about where I've been running, 36.6, high 36.5s. But what I really want you to notice is just I'm driving it a little bit differently now. A little more kind of, I'm not sure if traditionally, but how you would mostly think to drive this car, kind of a little bit of trail brake in there, and that is because we've got only 5 gallons in the tank versus 15 to 22 gallons at a full tank. So, and that's just as your weight balance changes, you can use a little more weight transfer to get you into the turns, and therefore brake a little bit. See, I'm still on the brakes. I would have been off the brakes a long time ago if we had any more than, say, 11 or 12 gallons of fuel in the tank. Low line feels better now as well too. So quickly we'll talk fuel numbers. Each gallon gets you like 3.3 laps, really just rounded down to 3 laps a gallon to be safe. You don't accidentally short yourself on fuel and then you gotta suddenly feel safe if even you don't make it at all. 36.63. We're gonna be coming into pit soon, so that'd be 30 laps left. 9 gallons in the tank, honestly, should get you there, so we'll add 6 gallons. And of course you could pit earlier, you could pit as late as you want, but I think pitting between lap 55 and lap 60 is going to kind of be your sweet spot. But right now I'm doing a practice pit stop and pit strategy under what is otherwise perfect conditions. I don't have 2 cars directly in front of me for position, one car directly behind me for position, so your actual pit strategy is likely going to be different based on whatever actual race you're in. See, I'm still maxed out on the brake bias. You just want to keep heat out of your right rear as much as possible. Not the best exit there. Kind of charge these corners a little more. The flip side is you got to be a little bit more patient for throttle because you've just got wear and heat in your tires and not as much fuel for weight transfer and balance to kind of really propel you through this corner. But you can see we're still being really smooth on our throttle, smooth on all our inputs. 625 there. Good, a loose right there. You just got to be careful of that. And we are going to pit this time in. I'm going to take it really slow. We'll go on back out of the car after a few laps on 2 tires, and I'll try to show you guys where my braking point is for a green flag pit stop.
Pit box in 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Right here.
All right. Goodness. And that's
Okay, punch it.
that's quite a split on the tire wear numbers. 60 on the right front, 42 on the right rear. Tire temperatures are pretty good. That's the best I've ever had my tire heat ever through all the practice laps I've done on this track across the last week or so. But I really think Old Kentucky is just that kind of track that will naturally chew away the right rear. We'll check the brake bias. 30 laps of fuel. So yeah, I think 6 gallons of fuel is the minimum you need to add. 5 bare minimum, but you'll need to have some fuel saving in mind. Car rotates really, really nicely. Not crazy loose. Feels really balanced, as a matter of fact, but you still got to be careful when you're on throttle. Last lap time was a 36.62. We're on pace to smash that lap time right now. Yeah. That's insanely fast. I think that's even fast. No, that's not faster than quality times. On 2 tires, I think you're going to want to roll around a little bit higher. Not this high though, I just absolutely blew the corner. But kind of be in the second lane for the most part of the corner, maybe just dipping below the first seam. Car feels really, really good. That was a 35.38 last time around. This time should be faster because I didn't blow the corner. Not terribly faster, but that fall off is pretty heavy in the first 10 laps. And honestly, lowest line feels fine as well. Chuck that in there. Just sacrifice the exit a little bit, and of course don't hit the wall. Give it one more lap, then we'll wrap it up. 35.708. Just know, racing against anybody who's yet to pit, they're going to be running a second slower, easily. Being a little more aggressive here just to see what the car on 2 tires can really do. Any faster. Yeah, much better center there. Not so great on the exit, but I was kind of going pretty hard. We're going to do another practice green flag pit stop here. I think I'm going to use those 2 darker boxes right about here as my brake marker. I think you want to use those boxes. Any later than that, and you are really pushing your luck. So, review the original set of tires that came off. Even on the left side tires, 60-42. And I honestly don't think I could do any better on this, aside from just outright giving away lap time that I honestly don't think will pay off in the long run. So, Old Kentucky is just a track that naturally eats away your right rear tire. So, let's actually double check that track temperature. 98, so later on in the race you might be cooling off a little bit. Is it? It's a live readout, as a matter of fact. Okay, so 98. But in full sun for a couple laps, track could get as hot as 107 with cars, maybe 110. Cloud cover with cars, you'll probably see only about 99, 100 degrees Fahrenheit track temp as the coolest. But that does not change what I think is going to be the kind of baseline rule for this track, and that is don't piss off your right rear tire. Once that's mad, it's really, really hard to calm it down, because exit matters a lot here. Right front preservation, not so much. I mean, you really got to send it into the corners to kill away the right front, and I've even tried doing that. It doesn't. The problem with really trying to work the right front is the car eventually gets on the right rear and it's just going to get loose. So there's not really any point in really trying to chuck it into the corners like you could with Kansas a few weeks ago. That in mind, a couple pit strategy tips. Say you get a yellow at like lap 10. You want to top off your fuel, but you want to top off your fuel, but you don't want to take tires. Just know your car is going to be scary loose on old tires, but a fuel tank of gas, full tank of gas. Good gosh. A yellow at like, let's say lap 65, a 2-tire call might get you the win. I'm not sure on that really. But within 20 to go, I'd probably just take the right set tires and prioritize track position. Low to middle line is going to be the place you want to be. Try not to be up any higher than these dark patches on the track. If even into it, you don't really want to be too far into it. Any higher than that, I feel like you just start giving away grip. Like, say, kind of, you certainly don't want to be on the topmost. There's no grip. You're not going to be ripping the wall here, that's for sure. And, yeah, I'm not really sure how this race will play out. I do think it'll be a little similar to Kansas. Just because 20 or 25 laps in, somebody lost control of the car, brought out a yellow, so I hope I'm wrong on that. I could be wrong. That's just what I think the race will play out like. And be sure to change your kind of driving style mid-race as fuel burns out. Once you're about 12 gallons in the tank and less, you can kind of start driving into the corners a little more aggressively, using some trail brake to help you get some rotation. But still, keep the rule in mind. Keep your right front happy. Keep your right rear happy, especially the right rear tire. And good luck. Hope this was helpful for you guys. I think it's a very, very fun track, very fun car setup. I think it'll give us some really good racing. And anything you want to ask, anything I missed in the guide, feel free to let me know. Heck, even let me know how your race went. And I'll see you next time around. Take care.